That's right, I gotta look right at the camera, right.
Sorry. So I know, I'm standing real stiff.
Dennis the Menace is probably the most friendly cat that I have ever had.
I adopted a cat named Nancy Drew. She definitely had a connection with me because every time I stepped into the room, she starts meowing crazy, runs up to the door.
We adopted Dylan from Treehouse this past May. We were told that he had a spicy personality, which we loved.
I fell in love.
My feral cat came to my window and he bonded with me every day. I come home from work, he sleep underneath my armpit every night. Yeah, he really played a big part of my life.
First, we were looking at the Treehouse website and we saw Dylan. It said that he had a lot of energy and would do well with like a high energy playmate. And I immediately thought that he would really get along with our cat Ace.
How the adoption process works is once the adopter comes into the building, we introduce ourselves, we say, hey, how's it going? You know, what kind of cat are you looking for? Do you have any other cats at home? We try to figure out what their lifestyle is like so that we can determine what kind of cat to match them with.
Treehouse put us in contact with his foster mom, Julie. We had a really good conversation with her. She was like, yeah, he's really sweet, he's really great.
After the virtual meet and greet, we hadn't met him in person yet. We came in and did all the paperwork and brought him home with us.
Being in a cageless environment, Leo was able to sit with me and I could do this for as long as I wanted. He just, he just kind of melted my heart.
So our intent was not initially to adopt a cat with special needs, but Treehouse was great with letting us know exactly what to expect from Dylan. And they were great with letting us know that we could come to them with any issues or come to their vet clinic or, you know, just reach out to them if we ever needed anything.
And I would add, just like in addition to the awesome records that we got from Treehouse with all of those behavior notes and medical notes, being able to talk to the foster mom and connect with her was really helpful.
People treated me very well here. They're very nice, they're very encouraging.
It was not only the Treehouse staff that made it pretty easy to transition to working, like to having our cat with special needs, but also the connection with the foster parent and just how well she knew Dylan too. Once we decided to move forward and adopt Dylan, everyone at Treehouse was really supportive and helpful in getting us the information and what we needed to get Dylan the care that he needs. Dylan was really just like the perfect fit.
This is the first special needs cat that we've adopted, yes, but the process has been great and I would do it again.
There's a cat out there for everybody, regardless of what their lifestyle is like, what kind of energy they have. If you're a messy person, we have a messy cat, you know? When I adopt out a cat to a family who is a very good match for this cat, it just feels good to see them go to a home, a real home with a family that really loves them.
The environment here is why I come to Treehouse to adopt cats.
We felt supported every step of the way and it's been really great.
I love animals, and they can't pick up the phone and say, help me, I'm starving, help me, I'm hurt, help me, I got kicked out.
You want them to be healthy, you want them to know that they're loved, you want them to know that someone that appreciates them.
When I walk into Treehouse, it just feels open, inviting, and welcoming.
It's actually almost unbelievable once you step inside the building.
Just how calm the cats were. They were sitting in windows. It just seemed like the ideal place that you would want to come and adopt a cat.
When you walk in, you just see a community of cats living their best life.
At Treehouse, the cats get to roam free. They get to do whatever they want, climb, eat, play.
We saw how the cats just did better.
You're able to see their personality. You're able to see how they interact with other cats and with you. And you can really imagine how they would be when you bring them home.
In order to be adopted, you know, their behavior had to be such that people would warm up to them. And having them feel comfortable in a facility where it looked like a home, they weren't in cages, they weren't stressed out, and then had great health care on top of it. It made for a great adoption.
I was at shock when I first started, and I never thought to see a place like this where they let cats run around, do things that they want to do, you know? It's great.
Where else would they want to be? It says it in the name, Treehouse.
The Treehouse Humane Society has been a part of the Chicago community for 50 years.
Well, Treehouse started when some of the people were in two different organizations. Neither one could take care of these animals at the time. One of our other people had said that there's somebody in the neighborhood that may be able to help you out. I called her and she said, oh no, I don't have any apartments. I said, well, would you have an apartment for rent that perhaps humans can't live in? And she said, oh, and she rented an apartment to us. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. A lot of spaying, neutering, a lot of shots going on. Then the word came. Shelters have to be registered and licensed. And in order to have a license, we have to have a place with the proper zoning. And one of the contributors said, I have a place. I have a place on Carmen. Come look at it. It was a beautiful house. So we applied, and we got our license and moved in and started the real work.
It was just a much smaller organization that had grown tremendously since it was born in 1971. Treehouse was located over on Carmen back in the 1980s. It was probably around 1986 that Treehouse got its first veterinarian treating minor illnesses, but obviously we did not have a veterinary clinic then. We did not have a veterinary team. I remember back then it was such a big deal when Treehouse finally got a veterinarian.
In the beginning, we learned a lot. Our young vets in the area helped us so much. I don't think we could have done it without them in the very beginning.
When I was president of the board, there was a fire in a building next door. And the fire was so powerful that they were afraid that it would burn Treehouse. They got all the cats out of Carmen. People had cats in their basements, in their cars, in their homes, because the entire building had to be evacuated because they were afraid that it could burn. Thankfully, it did not burn. But that was a scary day in Treehouse history.
The volunteers, there were so many that were wonderful. You know, it just works if everybody works together.
In the early 2000s at Treehouse, adoptions were going on well, but it was a very scary time in the history of the organization. Financially, things were very, very challenging. The board was 100% on in helping the staff do their jobs. They trusted the staff, but they recognized that their major responsibility was to keep the doors open. And they did that. They did a heroic effort to make sure that they rallied the community to make sure Treehouse was here to stay.
One of the things that we have learned is the fact that stress has a huge role in disease in cats. And we reached a point on our Carmen facility where that happened. We knew that we had to address that issue in a new facility. And that's exactly what we have done here.
And now that we're over here, it's so much more spacious. We get more product that comes in. We got more storage room. Everyone is in sync with one another as far as communication. We have all the material we may need as far as food, wet food, dry food, litter.
We're a very different organization now than we were back then, but the passion for cats and the passion for what we do differently is still present today. Treehouse has always had a culture of innovation. Cageless environment. We operated out of a home, and we had a veterinarian who worked exclusively with our resident cats.
We wanted it to be like a home, and it was a home to begin with.
Our wonderful facility here on Western Avenue is a perfect example of that innovation. Everything that we have learned about transmission of disease in cats over the last 25 to 30 years, those lessons were applied in the design of this facility here, and it enables us to keep those cats healthy while they are here. And very importantly, it greatly shortens the length of stay so that we can get these cats adopted out much more quickly than we ever could. And we've also been very fortunate over the year to have donors that appreciate that that's what we do and have been very generous in donating dollars to help us accomplish that. In fact, many of the accomplishments that we've had have been because donors have suggested something and we went with it.
We had people all over the country giving. There would be people giving money from Texas and California and Florida who maybe had never even set foot in Treehouse, but had this vision of an organization that treated cats with dignity and adopted them out to loving homes and gave every year without fail.
The space where we're standing right now is the feline leukemia virus positive colony. It's unusual, not unheard of now, to find humane organizations or shelters that have this, but it was unheard of when we first did it. It was a very innovative thing to do. We were one of the first facilities in the country to start adopting out cats with feline immunodeficiency virus into homes. The reason is because the way feline immunodeficiency virus is transmitted is through bite wounds. Unfriendly cats will fight, and that is how feline immunodeficiency virus is transmitted. We're less likely to have fighting if we introduce slowly. Cats will only fight as a last resort.
I'm seeing Treehouse grow. Each year, they're coming up with new ideas and they're doing different things. Just everything is just coming together.
So when COVID happened, we kind of had a mass exodus of all the animals going out to foster. So we really saw a lot of people in the community step up and provide homes to all of our shelter animals so that we could get our staff home and quarantined and kept safe.
When COVID started, everyone worked from home, and they slowly, gradually started bringing employees in different departments. A few people over here worked in this department, that department.
Because of the strict protocols that we did put in place, we were really, really lucky not to have any COVID outbreaks, and then we're one of the places to first resume providing surgeries. We had the cleaning protocols, curbside exams, curbside check-ins, adoptions went virtual.
I think one of the big things that we instituted really quickly once COVID hit, we had a program called Shelter Skippers, which was foster straight to home. The cats never enter the shelter. They go straight from a foster home, and then we facilitate the adoption remotely, and they go straight to their home. And as soon as we rolled that out, that's when COVID hit. We were able to actually move all of our population to foster. So having that already set up and like the framework of it just made things a lot easier for us.
They did a beautiful job on going with the protocol of the COVID, making sure everyone was safe, the whole 9 yards. They did a wonderful job.
And I think it speaks just volumes about how valued we are here.
Everything we do puts the cat first.
And that doesn't just mean cats that find their forever homes, it's also cats that might be better out in the world with a colony caretaker.
The working cat program is where we have either commercial businesses or some residential buildings will actually have a colony of feral cats that they care for. In return, those cats work by controlling the rodents.
And it's a solution for those cats that can't find a forever home.
So Treehouse had a dream to provide a clinic for the community.
The Veterinary Wellness Center was 3 years in the making, at least.
Going back many years, knowing how spay and neutering is the most important thing. It's the first thing you have to think about. The dream was to have our own spay-neuter clinic, because we met so many people that really couldn't afford the prices, even back then. And it kept escalating, the prices. Some people had nothing, but they had their pet. That's all they had.
It was important to have a clinic at that time, not only to save money, but also it allowed Treehouse to keep the cats in the building, taking care of them in their facility. And that dream had been around for years and well before this building was even built. And so it was a great coda to the campaign to find that the money was raised to finally make this dream come true.
The Veterinary Wellness Center treats owned cats and dogs belonging to the general public that in many cases have not received any veterinary care in the past at all.
The Wellness Center provides essential care such as spay, neuters, vaccines to the community members and their pets at an affordable cost so everybody can have access. I believe in the human-animal bond, and it's important. Everybody deserves to have a pet and keep their pet healthy, so that's why it's important to provide affordable care.
We've only been open a matter of about 4 months now, but we are tracking how many of these animals have never ever been to a veterinarian, and by far the large majority of them have never seen a veterinarian.
When we bring them out to their owner, you could just see them just wagging their tail. They're just so happy. And you could see the smile on the owner's face to know that, their pet is okay.
We've been very busy in the Veterinary Wellness Center, and already in 4 months it's proven that it was a good decision to go that route. And that's another way in which Treehouse has been very innovative.
So now we've been serving the community. It's been very successful, and it's a great thing for this area to have affordable veterinary care for their animals.
What you have today is amazing. And I cried a few minutes ago because I just saw the clinic I've been dreaming about my whole life. Sorry.
The community clinic wouldn't have happened without fundraising. It wouldn't have happened if people didn't come forward and give.
It was the best day of 2021 in the middle of a pandemic to see that Veterinary Wellness Center open. It will be the highlight of my year.
The mission of Treehouse is simple but important.
Every cat deserves a chance to thrive, whether it's indoors or outdoors.
Every time I get a thank you from a client or a patient, that's what fulfills me, and that's what makes me come to work every single day.
The team at Treehouse is beyond passionate. They show so much compassion about not only the community of cats, but just also the community that we're in.
I have never worked for an organization that valued its employees so much that they wanted to focus on making everybody feel celebrated and welcomed. It is a sign to me that this shelter and the Veterinary Wellness Center has a really excellent path ahead of them.
We wanted the staff to know that the board recognized their hard work and wanted to provide for them as best we could.
They give me all of the equipment that I need for me to do my job, to make my job easier. That way it makes the doc's job easier. I love my job. I'm so grateful. It made me grow as a caretaker to appreciate and love the animals and give them all the assist they need so they can grow.
Every frontline staff member here, veterinary or our adoption counselors or shelter staff, have gone through a fear-free certification program, which really shows that we put the cats first and foremost. And it's a program that teaches people techniques to reduce stress for the cat, whether it be in handling or them being cage-free, providing certain enrichment.
It's a great place to be. I'm really grateful for this opportunity. I never thought I'd be working in a place like this.
I do like working with the people here. The people are very compassionate. They really care about the cats. And when they help other people in the community, it's one of the best things in the world to see. And I love it a lot. I really do.
I support Treehouse because of its history of innovation, and everything we do is based on our understanding of cats and what they need.
I think Treehouse is the model for the nation in terms of cat behavior, cat management, cat adoption.
Two challenges facing families with pets are access to vet care and behavior issues.
One of the things that the welfare field is moving towards is having like social service programs set up because, if you can't afford, pet food, you have to go to a pet food pantry or a food pantry. Or if you can't figure out how to find proper housing for your animal and keep your pet at home because your landlord's gonna kick you out because you have a cat in your house, then where are you gonna go for that, right?
And that's the focus of our next 3 years, is really going beyond our shelter walls.
To uplift every pet owner, no matter income level, housing situation, and helping to interact with the community. These are areas where veterinary medicine, as well as other resources, are usually scarce.
And we're bringing our whole host of services, including our community cats programming, as well as free vaccine clinics.
It's important for the cats to have social services available for the community because it allows us to basically keep cats at home, with people that will take care of them.
We find that the number one reason why families give up their pets is due to easy behavior problems that can be solved. So one of the things to focus on making sure that we keep families together, we want to make sure that we're a behavior resource hub.
It's also part of our mission to understand and emphasize that the human condition cannot be separated from the animal condition when we're talking about the human-animal bond.
We're all linked. Animal welfare is so interconnected that we do have to take care of each other.
So that's kind of like where I see Treehouse moving towards the future, is those kinds of innovative approaches and practices, because I just think it's worthwhile to be able to do that kind of stuff. And that's what really attracted me here to the mission.
We want to be the Apple of animal welfare. And so we want to make sure that we're serving the 20,000 cats that we'll see the next 3 years, but also do things in a way that is innovative, that is pioneering, that sets the stage for other shelters. And we want to continue that spirit of being a model organization.
For some people, their pet is all they have. And Treehouse helps those pets that are already out there to have a great life.
You can support us by donating, volunteering, or advocating on behalf of cats in your community. We need you, our cats need you, and thank you for taking us to the next 50 years.